I have something a little different today. I'm going to be doing my video in 2 parts, so you may want to wait until the second part has been on the YouTube until you try and paint it. So anyway, well, let's get started with the first part. Now, if you notice, I used an older brush to put the white on, and that's because I like to save my better brushes for some of the finer details. So anyway, since I've got this one with the liquid white on there already, I'm just going to take a little bit of the blue that I want in the sky. And this is phthalo blue. I love this color. And just start up at the top. Make little crisscross strokes. And this brush does not blend nearly as well as some of my others, but since I already had it dirty, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. And you can just scrub this in any old way. You don't have to make it perfect. Sometimes when you leave a little bit of space like this in the sky, that's kind of neat because it looks like clouds way off in the distance. So now that I have my sky in, the blue part of it, I want to take my small fan brush, and what I want to do is go into some white. Now people, when they're making clouds, they get so paranoid about making perfect little circles and da-da-da-da-da. You don't need to do that. If you want to mush that brush in here and just get it all full of paint, and just go up here and just play, just do something. And you'll see that it'll pick up color, it'll change shapes, it'll change many colors. Just keep doing that. You can make, you know, the sky is endless in its formations. It never does the same thing twice. You'll never see a duplicate in the sky. So this is kind of interesting because you can just do anything up here, and it's okay. It won't make any difference. This one, let's just take it off the edge. And notice I'm just twisting, turning, just making it any way I want to do it. And it makes such interesting shapes this way. If you haven't tried this, you have to try it. I want to wipe this off. I've got too much blue on my brush. That's better. Let's go up here again. This takes quite a bit of white. But now, don't you think that's interesting? How many times have you seen a sky like this? Instead of doing perfect little circles. That's how we learned, was perfect little circles. Okay, I'm going to call that good. Anyway, using a blender brush, you would do it the same as you use the big brush. You just lightly, because these are delicate bristles. And so you just go over this and you can see it's just hardly moving any paint at all. But boy, do these blend gorgeous. You can blend up, down, any way. I like to blend out the bottom of the clouds a little bit more. So isn't that cool? These are really neat brushes. Anyway, and then just go across and just do that until you like the results. And I'm thinking this right here is very fine. I like it. Anyway, that's all there is to using a blender brush, just very lightly. And when you clean these, be sure to clean them thoroughly, very gently though. You just dip them into thinner and then just wipe it off a little bit on the edge and then blot it dry with a paper towel. Well, gosh, I forgot to put my microphone on, so I don't know if it recorded or not, so I'm going to do this part over. But actually what I did is I took a brush and I just put some blue in here for some water. And then I took my knife, I mixed up the colors. I used black, blue, alizarin, and a touch of brown. I just mixed a dark color and I just put it on the mountain area here. And I just scraped off as much as I can scrape off. Then what I want to do is take one of my 1-inch brushes. It doesn't make any difference which one. I guess I like this one better for bushes. So what I want to do is I just grab this paint, pull down, okay, and then just kind of blend it out at the bottom here. Now take the 1-inch or the knife and grab some of the white paint, just a little roll, and we're going to just touch and drag very lightly, lightly touch, and just drag. I don't need to worry about too much getting over in this area because that is going to have a large tree there. So we're going to do that again over here. You notice how I'm holding this knife? I don't have my finger here. It is just very, very light. This is such a light touch. And I'm just letting the canvas pull off whatever amount of paint it wants to pull off. Now just lightly blend that out. Because this is off in the distance, so it would be just a little bit blurry. Okay, now I want to do a larger mountain. So again, pull the paint out, get a roll, and let's make this one higher. We'll do this one right about here. And I want to show you something also. I want to grab another knife here. When I'm doing this, this is how I'm doing this as a left-hander. If you're a right-hander, you would be doing, just put these points together. You would be doing the exact opposite. You would be pulling this way and like so, this way and this way. Whereas I'm leading with the toe leading and then pulling this way. Right-handers would be doing it just the opposite, okay? Now I'm not going to get too fancy with these mountains because I know a lot of people have a lot of difficulty with them. So again, a little bit more paint. Let's go right here. Okay, now grab that blender brush again, touch and pull. Here, the opposite way. See, you can almost tell how the mountain just, you can actually see how the landscape is. And just pull this down and blend it out at the bottom. And we're going to grab that knife again, pull out your white paint, get a little roll, like so, touch, and pull. The lighter your touch, the better this snow is going to look. And you can do this as many times as you need. It's great if you can do it all in one great big fancy pull, but you know what? That's not really necessary. If you need to make 2 or 3 pulls, that is not a problem. Now, when I was doing mountains, I did this kind of a little experiment thing. I want to get some white here and add it to this dark color that I have. This just makes a more of a shadow color. And instead of pulling this way with the knife, I thought, it would be interesting to try something different. So what I did, I turned my knife the opposite way. And I pull, so I get a little roll, and I decided to try this. And I really like the way it turned out. Again, my touch is extremely light. It's hard getting used to this, but it works. I like it. You have to get used to the knife being, holding it a different way, but yeah, it's quite unique. It's always fun to experiment with these different little things. Anyway, that's for that part. Now, again, take that other brush, the 1-inch brush, and tap it out. This way for the other side. And blend. Just lightly pull. Okay. And then with that same brush, what I want to do is pull out some of this ochre and yellow, and tap, because I'm putting in just a little bit of this dark color too, because that's going to make kind of a greenish color for blending up the mountain. I want to have some highlights along the mountain, some grassy, sort of a grassy feel. A little more ochre. Oh yeah, that's better. Just a little bit of dark on the tips here. And I'll show you why I'm doing that in just a second. This is so cool. Okay, that's all. And just tapping the brush on the paper towel just to get the paint off the tips. Now what I want to do, remember just, I think it was last month, I did a painting where I brought the layers forward with the little trees in the distance and kind of like a foggy, misty look. This is the same thing, except this time, this little dark area is going to become like little trees way off in the distance. See, I'm just very lightly, extremely lightly, just pulling up. Let's even do a couple of these over here. See how it looks like little trees? Isn't that neat? Okay, we won't worry about what's over on the side here. Okay, now what I'd like to do is I'm going to make up more of that dark color because I need a whole bunch of it down here. So black, blue, alizarin. This time I will add some green because they're evergreen trees. A little bit of brown, maybe dark brown. And just mush that together. And that should be probably good. I want more green. Okay. I need a rack of paper towels here. That would be so handy. Anyway, so now I want to take this 1-inch brush and I want to load both sides, 1-inch brush, excuse me, the fan brush. I want to load both sides of the fan brush here. What we're going to do is make little distant evergreen trees. I don't need to be way over here because there will be a big tree there, but let's start about in here. And all I'm doing is just touching the tops of the brush and just kind of pulling downwards a little bit. Load. Try to make these little trees different heights. And also every once in a while grab some yellow ochre. And all that does is just changes the color just a slight bit, which is nice to have a little variety of color. And then you can go back to your dark. Maybe some yellow here. See, it just changes the evergreen trees just ever so slightly. It's awful boring to see just all of one solid color all the time. Okay, and we'll just let this kind of trail off because again, there's going to be trees back here, so you won't even see them. So now I got that extra paint off. I'm going to go into a little bit of white. We're going to make just like a few little tree trunks like down here. Let's just go right in here and just kind of lift up. And this kind of makes a misty look also, kind of a far away, distant look. Hope my head doesn't keep getting in the way. That's so easy to do when you're photographing or when you're filming, because you don't see what you're doing. You just get in the way. Anyway, that looks kind of cool. So I don't have the white on there. And then I want to go back into that dark, like so. And I want to just make some grassy areas here. All I'm doing is just putting in some dark color. Actually, I could probably do this with the 1 inch and it would work a lot better. Actually, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a 1 inch brush, just go into some of this dark. Let's just tap. I want to bring some on the other side also. I'm just filling in. Kind of just fuzzing these little distant background areas a little bit more. What I'd like to do now is go into, I've got a fresh clean brush. This is for my lighter color, so I have one brush with the dark color and then this will be the light brush with the lighter color. So I want to go into some of this yellow and ochre, cad yellow and ochre. That's pretty. Probably the sun is coming in from this way because this side of the mountains are highlighted. And so actually this would be brighter over here. I'm just tapping grasses. And let's do that again. A little ochre, a little yellow. Yeah, that's good. And whoop. Okay, so I've got all that dark color out. Now I want to go into the white. Loading both sides of the fan brush. And just let's do this. How about that? Ooh, wipe that brush off because it got the white got contaminated. So let's go into the white again. Come across and down. Good. Okay, well that was the end of part 1, so be sure and stay tuned for part 2, and I will just see you later. Bye-bye.